Well, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. It's not the video I wanted to make right now, but it's the video I'm making because circumstances has led to this moment. First of all, I need to just come clean. I just need to get this all off my chest. Since I started this project, I have had a lot of questions, a lot of curiosity, a little bit of hate and venom because of what I'm doing here, but mostly people that just don't really understand what's happening or why I would do what I'm doing. So let's see if I can clear some of that up, and then we can talk about where we are here and move on. First of all, one of the important things I want to say, those of us that grew up watching the old TV shows, Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider, Fall Guy, and more, we fell in love with those cars and trucks, A-Team, etc. We fell in love with them because we saw those cars doing amazing things. We saw them flying through the air. We saw them caught on fire. We saw them rolling end over end. You know, you'd watch up in the air, and for a split second, if you were fortunate enough to have a large television color at the time, you'd see it go up in the air, and you'd watch and go, wait a second, there's something different about that car. And there was, because it was a stunt car. And when it would land, you would see the whole front end collapse. And in the very next shot, a perfect General Lee would drive away with Bo and Luke Duke in it. Same thing in Fall Guy. You'd see this truck racing around, doing its thing, high-speed chases all over Los Angeles or wherever the story took them. And all of a sudden, if you look close, you would notice it went from having 4 headlights to 2 headlights. Or it would go from having the door in the bed with the box in the back to not having that. Or it would go from having the big crash bar on the front end with the winch and stuff on it, and all of a sudden you'd look and there's no crash bar, no winch. Kind of a clue that that truck is getting ready to go for a ride, typically in the air. And everything that goes up must come down. So when those trucks would come down, they would just completely be obliterated. And in the very next scene, there it is, Fall Guy truck, perfect. And they're driving around doing their thing in it. So stunt vehicles, like stunt men, they've been a part of our culture. They've been a part of growing up, been a part of my childhood. And even now, as the new movie comes out for the Fall Guy, you're going to see some things happening in that movie that required replicas of the original vehicle in order to produce a stunt. Okay, enough on that. So what are we doing here? Let's talk a little bit about the Fall Guy. So the Fall Guy was a television show that ran in the early 80s for 5 seasons, like from 81 to 86. It starred Lee Majors. Lee Majors, whose name was Colt Seavers on the television show, was a stuntman by day. And if you listen to the theme song to the TV show, he's a stuntman by day doing all the kind of things behind the scenes so that the hero would get all the credit. And in the end, he doesn't get the girl. He gets the bruised knee. He goes off into the silence as the superstar of the movie, takes credit for everything. Well, he works as a stunt guy during the day, and at night or weekends or whenever he doesn't have stunt work, he's a bounty hunter. His truck, which interestingly doesn't have a name. You know, Kit had a name, you know, from Knight Rider. The General Lee had a name from Dukes of Hazzard. This truck never gets a name in the TV show. It's just Colt Seavers' truck. But the truck plays a huge role in his bounty hunting, and it even plays a role in some of the episodes as a stunt truck doing stunts on the fake TV shows and movies that they film within the show. So that's where the truck plays its role. Now, in order for this to work, there's a couple things that go on. It's fascinating, the colors of the truck that were used on the TV show this gold and brown are not even General Motors colors. These were colors from late 70s Renault trucks and Chrysler Cordoba, brown metallic. Not even General Motors colors. So for those out there that are like, why would you do all this? Why would you work so hard on something that's just going to get destroyed? I want you to think for a moment that back when they made the television show, all the trucks that you saw that got destroyed had to go through paint. They had to get the hood sticker put on them. They had to get the trim put on around them. They had to get the roll bar put in it, the big wheels, they had to get lifted in order to create the illusion that the hero truck was performing some incredible stunt. Every one of them did. So it wasn't like they just rolled a car off the showroom floor and threw a stunt driver in it and took off. Every one of those took a tremendous amount of meticulous work. But somewhere in there, they have to draw a line, right? There's a line they draw between how much work and trouble are we going to put into this stunt truck versus what do they get, what's the benefit you get on the screen? And that's been the very issue on my mind all along. How hard, how much money, what do I do? What do I need to do to get this 7 out of 10? 10 out of 10 being perfect match to the TV hero truck that you would see on posters, that you would see in thumbnails and stuff if you go Google it up on the computer. How do you get this truck to be, at a glance, to look like that truck, but obviously not be that truck? So that's been my battle since I started this project. Number one, it had to run. It's a runner, baby! It's a runner! Which is what we went after. We had to get this thing moving under its own power. I think they're spinning. I think we have four-wheel drive, guys. That was huge. 2, I had to come up with sheet metal. Took 3 trucks, well, technically 3 other trucks, not counting this one, 4 trucks. Yeah, this one's hosed, doors are hosed on this one. One down. Want to be really gentle with this door, Oops. Took 3 other trucks to come up with the sheet metal we needed to close everything in, right? And then we had to start getting creative on some other items. I'm so thankful to Kevin Webb. He's the fellow I was able to buy the Fall Guy hood sticker from. He reproduces all kinds of stuff, high quality stuff, if you want to make an actual replica of the TV truck, down to the handles that go on the bed, to the one-off Sierra Grande 2500 GMC fender emblems. He's got it all. He even has clothing that would be seen on the television show. But from Kevin, cruising the internet, other people that have built replicas of these trucks, the other 3 trucks worth of sheet metal, we started making a move. I also want to let you know that I'm so thankful to CarQuest in Alaska here. They've been incredible. The PPG line of paint that they were able to sponsor for this, phenomenal. Thank you, because you really put a shot in my arm to get this thing over that next phase. For those of you that don't know, paint is very expensive. And it is here's something fascinating. It costs just as much to paint a stunt truck like this that's going to be destroyed as it would cost to paint one that's going to be a show truck for permanent. Paint is paint. Doesn't matter. It's something you have to think about whenever you're restoring a car or doing something. Paint is a huge part of the cost. The materials alone are high dollar. Thank you, CarQuest. You guys are fantastic. But as far as the project goes, I've had to go through, really on a daily basis and think things through. I've got all kinds of ideas on my mind, how we could just do some super fun stuff. But where do we draw the line? Where do we cut it between, well, we're just going to throw this away anyway, to, hey, it needs to function, to, hey, it needs to look like the TV show? And that's been my dilemma all along, is just how far do we go? And really, it's a fine line that I keep getting blurred with and stepping over both ways because I'm not sure. So for the last 2 weeks, I really haven't uploaded a video of this project. We've been pretty consistent getting them out there, letting you know what's going on. Got a whole playlist that you can see from start to hopefully eventually the finished product. But been a rough couple of weeks. Been some good things and some bad things. There will be some videos coming on that. But you notice it's up here in the dark on the lift. It's not running right now. It isn't going anywhere under its own power at the moment. And it's super frustrating. It's also kind of fascinating to try to figure out how this happened. But yeah, it's down for the count. And that's not good. But I'm hoping after the end of this next week, it's going to be rolling and we'll be back on track. We had a tremendous donation this last week. Huge, awesome, wonderful. Unfortunately, it didn't work out the way that I'd hoped to, and it actually created a little bit of extra work, but that's okay. Because of that, it opened other doors. You'll find all this out. I'm talking cryptic right now because some of you know what's going on with this, but most of you don't. So we'll get you caught up on that as soon as I can. Where are we on the project? Well, got to get it back running again. I've had some support from another vendor that, let's just say, they like to help people get high. Yeah, maybe we'll leave it at that. I've had support from another vendor. It's going to help us get the right look on this truck. We got our wheels and tires moving along. We've got this mechanical issue moving along. I'm down to just a handful of things to make this a 7 out of 10 I'm shooting for. 10 out of 10 would be, a perfect replica of the television hero truck. The one that Heather Thomas would hang out in. That's Jody Banks, a good-looking blonde that's his partner. The one that she would have been hanging out in and driving, the one that she used to do her poster shoots with. A 10 out of 10 would be that truck. The exact tires, the exact everything, right? The exact everything. So 9 out of 10 would be that truck, but not executed really well. 8 out of 10 would be, getting there, but, missing a few things. 7 out of 10 is going to be a mistaken identity. You're going to see this and you're going to think, oh my goodness, that is the Fall Guy truck. Absolutely. But then as you walk around it, you're going to start going, oh, what about that? What about that? And that's perfectly okay. Those that get to see this in person will have the opportunity to walk around it. And if you know anything about the show, you'll be able to walk around it and try to figure some things out. Something else fascinating about the show is I've studied it. The truck changed in some slight ways over the seasons, which is kind of funny. The stunt trucks definitely changed. They actually ended up building a big block version mid-engine truck. Kevin Webb actually has that truck to this day. That was completely reinforced, would allow the truck to take off and land more stable so it didn't nosedive every time. Apparently the story is they went through so many trucks in the first little bit of filming the show that they had to stop doing that. They just couldn't. Could you imagine taking 2024 GMCs and 2023s and 2022s and just left and right demolishing them? Somebody somewhere would draw a line and say, okay, let's stop. When you also consider they have to paint them, sticker them, lift kits, big tires, all those things they have to do to make it match the TV hero truck. A lot of money. So over the years, the trucks changed, the stunt trucks changed. They had to go with different tactics to keep the show going and to keep the illusion going that Colt Seaver's old GMC 2500 Sierra Grande was continuing to just work its way through show after show after show, and other than a few dents and scratches here and there, it just kept on rolling. Also, you guys say I'm crazy, and you're probably right. I'm probably a little crazy. I don't have any problem with that, wearing that label. I'll wear it. But this has been fun to prep and prepare a vehicle paint job, which actually turned out. I didn't get a single run in this paint, not a single run. But to prepare a paint job on something like this, the stress was like, other than being in a hurry and fighting weather, no stress, right? And it's just been kind of cool. It's been cool working on it and building it and doing things that you don't have the freedom to do if you're building something long term. You know, you don't get to see results this quickly because it does take more time and effort and energy and resources to do a restoration correctly. So it's been fun breaking the rules and kind of doing what I want to make it happen. But I've got this little ripping, tearing feeling. I do have just a little rip at me over what it's going to be like to say goodbye to this. I mean, I'm sitting in this right now, but in a number of months, this thing is going to be over. There's a scrapyard that picks all these up after the event. And this is just going to be scrap sitting out in the weather, getting ready to be recycled metal. And it blows my mind, right? It just blows my mind that I would put all this effort into something. And it has grown on me. I like square bodies. I've never been a huge fan per se, but spending the time I have with this truck has really, really made me a fan. It's absolutely grown on me. I love the look of it. I love the style. I see why General Motors built this truck for so long, from what, 73 to 87 plus, really, because the Suburban and Tahoe went longer and the big trucks. But it is a good looking design, and I've been up close to it for a lot of hours and a lot of days. Anyway, this video is getting really, really long, but I just needed to come clean with you and really explain what is going on here, and even to that. So what happens from here? So once this thing is together, there are actually some car shows and events around this area of Alaska that this thing will go to. So many of you that are watching my channel will get a chance to see this in person, even if you're not able to go to the cliff jump. It's going to be at a couple of car shows here in town. Rev Alaska's doing one. The 49th State Street Rodders has a show. There's just some events. There's going to be some opportunities to see this truck in person before the big day. So it will go out and about. I'm looking for also perhaps other opportunities with maybe some charitable events or some places. I think it would be fantastic to give some special groups of people the opportunity to graffiti it, to sign it, to put messages on it prior to the day of the actual jump. I'm trying to think some of that through. But it's going to get out there and around a little bit. And then the big day, it's going to go off. I am struggling with logistics of cameras. You know, do I put a camera in the truck to go over? Where do you put it? What's its chance of survival? Do I buy a drone? Do I partner with someone with a drone? You know, how am I going to get all the video that we need to get the glorious last few moments of this stunt truck performing this incredible stunt, which I submit to you, I think will be the greatest stunt ever performed by the Fall Guy truck in terms of this size of a jump. Never before was it done. So we're going to do it. And I hope all of you will stay around for the ride. So stay tuned. Please like and subscribe. You hear that all the time on YouTube channels. There's a reason for that, because the YouTube robots that do whatever they do, they look at that to put a video in rotation. And part of the benefit of this truck and where this truck will live on as long as there's digital media is on the internet. And it'll do that thanks to you with your clicks, your likes, your comments below. And hey, listen, if you think I'm crazy, that's fine. If you think this truck should have been saved to be put on the road and used, that's fine. We can talk about that as well. But you know, this is where we are and this is what we're doing. And we are just following in the steps that have been made by giants before us of building stunt trucks for your entertainment, for my entertainment, stunt cars, stunt trucks that go off and do incredible things. And for a split second, they make you think that that's the hero vehicle, that's the hero truck that's just sailed off into the sunset performing some incredible stunt. And it was really a stunt truck soul built for the purpose of fooling you into believing that something just happened that didn't really happen. Because the next scene, it's driving away without a single scratch on it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. We will catch up with you soon. I've got a couple big things that are happening here, and then we'll just have the big reveal of all of this put together for the purpose of one final great stunt. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.